Turning out to campaign 2012, where many Republicans think Saturday's South Carolina primary is the last chance to stop Mitt Romney. He was clearly targeted at last night's debate, mostly over his business record. Meantime, the latest national Gallup poll shows Romney with a commanding lead over his GOP rivals. Chief political correspondent Jan Crawford covered last night's debate in Myrtle Beach, and she joins us this morning. Jan, good morning.
Well, good morning, Erica. I mean, last night's debate was very different than all the others, and you know there have been a lot of other debates. And I think there are two main reasons for that. Number one, there are just fewer candidates now. Two candidates have dropped out in the last couple weeks. And then number two, as you suggested, time is a wasting on these candidates if they're going to stop Romney's path for the nomination. So if you add those things together, you get a debate that is serious and intense.
When we're asking
the four challengers took the stage with the same goal: to weaken Mitt Romney's support and build up their own. Newt Gingrich hit hard over negative ads.
So I think it is an absurdity, and it would be nice if Governor Romney would exercise leadership on his former staff and his major donors to take falsehoods off the air.
Romney answered back.
But if we're talking about super PAC ads that are inaccurate, Mr. Speaker, you have a super PAC ad
and
that attacks me. Now, just hold on. That attacks me. It's probably the biggest hoax since Bigfoot.
Rick Santorum set the tone early, aggressively challenging Romney on his record as governor of Massachusetts, and then taking on both Romney and Gingrich over reforming Social Security.
I want to make a point about Newt and Mitt's plans, because they're not bold, and they're not in the case of Governor Romney. First, we have to get our fiscal house in order, balance this budget, and then create the opportunity that Newt wants. But the idea of doing that now is fiscal insanity.
But Santorum at times faded from the stage as Gingrich started doing what he does best, and what made him a front-runner for a time. He bashed President Obama and made no apologies for saying things like poor kids should work in schools as janitors.
Can't you see that this is viewed at a minimum as insulting to all Americans, but particularly to Black Americans?
No, I don't see that.
With Gingrich and Santorum slugging it out to be the Romney alternative, Texas Governor Rick Perry also had a good moment, a reminder of why months ago many thought he could beat Romney when he talked about getting America back to work.
Yeah, that's what I've done for 11 years as the governor of the 13th largest economy in the world. 1 million jobs have been created in that state.
But it was Texas Congressman Ron Paul who refused to back down, standing by his principles and defending some of his negative attacks.
There was one ad that we used against Senator Santorum, and I only had one problem, is I couldn't get all the things in I wanted to say in 1 minute.
Now, there were no real losers, also no clear winners, although Gingrich, I think, did pick up some ground. But what we saw, I think, instead was all these candidates in a clear focus. They're really different from the others, from each other. And I think the moderators at Fox and the Wall Street Journal did a great job at just drawing them out. So you saw their strengths up there on that stage, but also maybe some of their flaws. Erica?
A lot of that focus, of course, too, from the candidates was on Mitt Romney, the attacks intensifying, as you pointed out. How did he fare in the end in handling that?
Well, he played it really safe last night. I mean, that was part of his strategy. He didn't have any razzle-dazzle, but, no fumbles, no turnovers either. Let me keep this football analogy going for a while. He ran what you call a prevent defense. He's got a big lead. He's just trying to protect it and not let anybody get in ahead of him. It worked for a while. Gingrich picked up some ground, though, and that is the danger of that kind of game plan. If you're not careful, some of those other guys can get back in this game. We got another debate on Thursday night. There is a lot of time between now and when people vote here in South Carolina. So if he keeps playing it safe, it could be some problems.
Jan Crawford in South Carolina this morning. Thanks.